Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers. In this video, we are going to be doing a first run of the Adidas Takumi Sen 10. Now, these were sent to us by the guys over at Sports Shoes. We're not paid to do this review, so we can say whatever we want. But big thanks to Sports Shoes for sending these over so we can do a load of videos on them. If you go into the caption below, you can also find a link to this shoe on the Sports Shoes website. It is an affiliate link, so we do make money if you decide to buy it. So just be aware of that if that happens. Right, let's dive in and do the first run. The Adidas Takumi Sen 10 costs £170 or $180. It weighs 192 grams or 6.8 ounces for men in a size 8 and the drop is 6 millimeters. The Adidas Takumi Sen 10 is the latest version of the brand's lightweight speed shoe. According to Adidas, it's designed for training and racing up to 10k, featuring 2 layers of Lightstrike Pro cushioning along with Energyrods 2.0 to provide a propulsive and snappy toe off and minimise energy loss. There's a mesh upper designed to offer a high level of breathability as well as wick sweat away from the foot, a Slinglaunch heel construction for a lockdown fit, and a traditional lacing system to ensure there's no slippage. The shoe also features a healthy covering of Adidas's impressive Continental rubber outsole to improve grip and durability.
On fit of the shoe, it is an aggressive racing fit for sure. This fits me really well, but I am someone who has a narrow foot and is also slightly small for my size. So it's a UK 9, which is a US 9.5 in Adidas. Often it's a US 10, so it gets slightly roomier at times, but this has that slightly shorter feeling and it's a pretty dialed in fit all round. So it's a fantastic fit for me, but if you are big for your size, have a big wide foot or something like that, then you might want to be a bit more careful about the sizing, maybe try it on, potentially go half a size up, but yeah, fits me really well in my normal size. Really good racing fit that feels very close without being uncomfortable.
The fit for me in the Adidas Takumi Sen 10, this is an 8 in the UK, I'm a size 8. What I did find is it's quite a hard shoe to get on. It's a quite restrictive shoe. It's basically a fast, lightweight racing and training shoe. So it's really quite lean on the upper. It's designed to really hold down to the foot, so it's not a roomy shoe by any stretch of the imagination. There's not a lot of padding on it either. What I did find is that once I got it on, it was very comfortable, and I've had no issues with it at all. There's not that much space before the big toe and the front of the shoe for me. There was enough for me to feel comfortable in it, and I would stay to my size in this shoe. But just take that in consideration. It's also a slightly narrow shoe around the midfoot. It's okay in the forefoot for me, and there's plenty of space around the side of the shoe, but in the midfoot it is a bit more narrow, so just take that in consideration. But I would stay to my size in this shoe.
Morning from a freezing London. I'm just heading out to do my first run in the Takumi Sen 10. I've got an 8k progression on the plan, nothing too strenuous. Got a race tomorrow, but I'm going to start off at a reasonably easy pace, kick up every 2k, finish somewhere around marathon pace probably, and do some strides afterwards. So it should be a nice little test of the shoe, finishing at a decent pace with some strides. And it's a shoe I'm very much looking forward to running in, having really enjoyed the Takumi Sen 8. Didn't test the 9, but I think it was quite similar to the 8. It'll be interesting to see if Adidas has made any significant changes. Here we go then. So just back from the run now, and that was just an absolute delight. I mean, that's so much fun, that shoe. Straight from the off, just heading out, just ticking along fairly easy at first. So much pace, so much turnover, just so easy to move in the shoe. And actually those relaxed paces, it felt pretty quite bouncy as well, quite soft underfoot. This is still quite a high stack shoe relative to 10 years ago, even if it isn't by today's standards. And then moving through the gears, an absolute cruise. As a shuffly high cadence runner, a really lightweight shoe like this just feels so good to turn over and run fast paces in. And by the end I was rolling along at just around 3:30 a k pace for the last k, and it just felt really fantastic in it. Great round corners, great up little hills, just such a nimble, agile shoe, but with some bounce there as well. Yeah, absolutely love that. I cannot wait to get out again and go and do some track stuff in the shoe and that kind of thing. And also frosty day today here in the UK. So some of the pavements where it was under shadow had that covering of white, not quite ice, but not something you're particularly excited about running quick on. And you've got that Continental outsole there that just has no problems with that. You could run over it, straight through it, and just know that you're going to have a good, reliable grip. Strides at the end felt absolutely fantastic, really hitting the meat of the shoe, getting up on the forefoot and hitting that Lightstrike Pro for a nice big, it's not bouncy feeling, but it's, got a little bit of pop there, and it just feels so light and nimble. It hasn't got the booming bounce of the bigger super shoes, but makes up for it with just the speed you can move your legs with it. And yeah, felt great today. Loved it. Loved the Takumi 8, and kind of hadn't used it for a while actually. I used the Takumi 8 a lot when it first came out, that year. Used it for races up to half marathon. Haven't used it since. Kind of forgot how great it is to have a shoe like this that is light in the, and it isn't super light, really, by the same weight as the Vaporfly 3 is actually a little bit lighter in my size, but it feels so light and nimble compared to everything else out there just because of that lower stack. So yeah, really enjoyable first run.
So the first run that I've done in the Takumi Sen 10 is a track session, which was 3 times 400, 4 times 800, and another 3 times 400. It was a pretty tough session, and I went all out on it. I have never used any of the previous Takumi Sen shoes, so I'm coming this completely fresh. I know Nick has tried previous versions. And to be honest, it's a shoe that maybe 3 years ago I wouldn't have even looked at using. It's only over the past few years that I've really started training using interval sessions, using shorter speed sessions, and it's not a shoe that I would have looked at before then. It's definitely not a shoe that I think most people would use as a daily trainer. It's not a shoe that many people would need if you've only got one shoe. But for that track session, I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. I'm just picking up the pace quite a bit now as I'm training for Boston Marathon, so I'm doing a lot more speed sessions, and I'm trying a few different shoes out at track to just see how they do when I'm really going all out. For me, a fast 400 of the track is probably about 3 minute 20 kilometers. I know Nick's is quite a bit faster than that, but what I found about this shoe is that for those fast reps, it's just lovely. It's really, really nice. It feels so light on the feet, and you barely notice it's there. So you can really pick up the pace, accelerate very quickly. But also, it's got a nice snappy feel to it as well. It really just pounds you forward, and you can just go really fast without worrying about the shoe at all. I know Nick's been a fan of the Takumi Sens in the past, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect from it really, because I've never particularly been a fan of racing flat type shoes with minimal midsoles. But I'm absolutely loving this. The midsole, it just works really well. I actually ran to and from the track, which is about 4K, so about 8K in this shoe. I did at about 5 minute kilometers. And to be honest, that midsole foam felt relatively comfortable at that pace. I didn't think it would do. I was actually going to bring another pair of shoes and jog to and from the track in the other pair of shoes and just use these for track. But I couldn't be bothered in the end, so I jogged there and back in these. And I was actually surprised that despite that leaner midsole, it felt very comfortable at that pace. I definitely wouldn't use it at that pace all the time. It's not really a daily trainer, but I think this midsole has just got a little bit more to it. It's a really nice foam, that Lightstrike Pro, and it works really well with the Energyrods, the newly designed Energyrods inside it, to just have this lovely fluid poppy feel to it. I also would say that when I was out on the track, it's quite wet, and the outsole is fantastic. Adidas are very, very good at doing outsoles. It has this continental rubber on, but there's a nice mix of a big rubber section at the top and then this sort of thinner design that you see on a lot of the other faster shoes on the side. So really good grip on the track, just felt really good at that pace as well. So that first run, I was really impressed with it. It's definitely probably going to be one of my favourite track shoes at the moment. For me, I really like a lot of cushioning in my shoes, whether that's a race shoe or a daily shoe, so I probably wouldn't use this for anything over a 10k race, because I just don't think it's got enough in it for me. I think for some people it'd be absolutely fine. I think that midsole is probably makes it a lot more applicable for more people, especially if you're used to wearing leaner race shoes. It's also very cold at the moment. The upper is extremely breathable, so if you get cold feet or you're planning on using this over the winter, then take that in consideration, because my feet did get a little bit cold when I was running down to the track in it. When I was at the track, that was fine because I was sweating so much that it wasn't a problem. But take that in consideration, that if you do get cold feet, you're probably going to get quite cold feet in these. Also say that despite the fact that it has quite a thin midsole, I didn't have particularly any issues with stability on it. Running down the road at comfortable pace, but also on track as well, it felt pretty good at that. So overall, pretty impressed with it so far, and looking forward to doing some more fast stuff in it. So my early verdict on the Adidas Takumi Sen 10, I can see why people really like this line of shoes. It is just a fantastic, lightweight, incredibly lightweight feeling fast training shoe or race shoe that just really benefits from some of that super shoe technology. It feels poppy, it feels fast, it feels like you can just really go all out in it, and the shoe's not going to hold you back in any way. So yeah, really impressed from that first run, and looking forward to doing a lot more testing in this shoe, especially when it comes to track. I think it's going to be one of my favourite shoes when it comes to track, just because of that lightness and the fact that I can really go all out on a track rep, and it just feels great. Also, that outsole is fantastic as well. So yeah, really impressed from that first run so far.
So early verdict is, really enjoyed that first run, the Takumi Sen. I thought the Takumi Sen 8 was the real standout of the kind of lower stack super shoes out there. It was the one that I felt really did offer a really fantastic ride, and as good as anything you could find really for those short races like 5k and track sessions. It felt, as good as the big stack super shoes. Like, I still kind of feel that things like the Vaporfly 3 and the Alpha 3 are still very lightweight, and you've got the extra foam, the extra propulsion there, and that does add up even over shorter races, if they're long straight races, that kind of thing. And it's hard to see maybe justify getting two super shoes, one with that lower stack, but the Takumi Sen does feel different, and it feels fantastic as a result of feeling different. Like, it's not a worse feeling, it's got that really nimble, agile feeling. I love using it. Doesn't feel necessarily the kind of shoe that's a must buy, like a must recommend, but it is the kind of shoe that does feel great, and you're pretty pleased to have it around for short track sessions, short races, that kind of thing, because it feels so great for them. But as always, we've got loads more testing to do. I cannot wait to get into some track sessions and do some short races in the shoe if I can, and we'll come back with a full report. But lovely first run, just a lot of fun to run in, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's just fantastic fun to run in. Can you put a price on that? You can. It's quite expensive, that price. So and there's lots of shoes that are very fun to run in, but the Takumi Sen is certainly one of them.
That's it from us on the Adidas Takumi Sen 10. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that little bell. And if you go into the caption below, you can find a link to the shoe on the Sports Shoes website to find out more. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.